Welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. I'm your host this time, Hunter Moeller. I'm joined here by Alex.
Welcome. It is October 24th, 2023, and this is Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, live from a remote location in Southeast Iowa. I am here with my co-host, Hunter Moeller.
Man, dude, you got me fired up.
Yeah, fired up today. I'm here with our producer, Alex Snyder.
Good to be here.
Good to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's pretty pumped today.
Yeah.
I got some caffeine today, so I'm ramping, ready to go. We got some long drives, the two of us,
Yep.
and the three of us, because Alex has to drive
Back to Washington.
towns, all the time. Got some long drives this week, and we'll explain more of that. But first off, there's somebody that is special to us that helps us in the show. You know, almost
Yeah.
someone that like kickstarts us, or what's a good word?
Represents, well,
Represents.
we kind of, I don't know, do we represent them or do they represent us?
Kind of both.
Kind of
It's
both ways,
mutual.
right?
Powered.
Powered
We are
by.
powered by Fairway
Food
Stores, the
Stores.
best food store that there is.
Yep.
You can get Mountain Dew at Fairway Food Store
Yeah.
for a pretty good price.
Get some coffee too.
Yeah. You know what I like about
Dunkin'.
Fairway?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of like a homey vibe. You know, it hasn't got all commercialized like the other stores,
Yeah.
Walmart. You know.
Walmart.
Anyway, we're going to talk a little playoff football. Hunter and I were both at football games, by the way. Big school fans. We'll talk about them a little bit at the end, but right before the break. But of course, it was it's the playoffs are here.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. Talking about playoffs.
Trying to win a game.
Yeah.
And we were both on the road, the playoff trail.
Yep.
We had a couple teams this Friday that will be playing on the road in the second round, so we decided to get them at home. Hunter, you were at Waco High School. Waco Mania was running wild, it seemed. Why don't
yeah.
you tell me about what happened with the Warriors?
Yeah, I mean, first round action, Waco kind of, does what Waco does. Took on the Baxter Bolts. They came in 5-3. Waco, obviously 6-1. Second seed in this, to kick off the 8-player playoffs here. Waco gets her done 55-20 to advance to round 2. It was kind of it was a kind of a tight first half until late near the halftime whistle there. Baxter scored first right out the gate, and obviously, I talked to Coach Edeker at a volleyball game earlier in the week, and he said they're kind of one of those teams that try to outscore you, and after the game, he said, if we can hold them under 20, that'll feel like a win. And I mean, they held them 20, so, got the result that they wanted, but right out the gate, Baxter scores. It wasn't too long after that. Reese Oswald kind of, put a stamp on the game. Big night for him. He ended up with 3 touchdowns, but his first one of the night was on their first opening drive, their 47-yard touchdown run. The biggest kind of difference on the night for me was the defense, specifically in the secondary. On Baxter's next possession, Hunter Hughes notched his first of 2 interceptions on the night. After that, another Oswald touchdown put him up 14-6. On the next drive, Baxter, long drawn-out drive, ran over 15 plays, scored the second touchdown of the night. But really, where the difference in the game came was in that kind of final 5 minutes of the half. Clayton Miller hit Colton Lichty, put the Warriors inside the 5 on their third possession of the night. And then Miller got in. Kudos to the Baxter defense. It's hard to stop Waco down there when they're inside the 5. Got them on 4th and 1, and then they did a little draw play, and Miller kind of just wide open hole into the end zone there, and then. Here comes the difference of the game on Baxter's next 2 possessions, interceptions, one by Hunter Hughes, as I mentioned, his first one, and then Miller got one himself, and both of those drives ended with Miller hitting first Gage Samo and then Loudon Housingate for touchdowns. So in a matter of 4.5 minutes, Waco went went from being up just 1 score to being up 3, leading 34-12 at the half, and really after that, Baxter scored just once more late in the 4th quarter. And then, I feel like kind of Waco kind of put the nail in the coffin, as you could say, is right out the gate of the second half, Loudon Housingate took the opening kickoff, and that, is kind of a more high-powered offense.
Very high-powered,
there.
yeah.
So big win for Waco moving on to the second round.
Oh, man, and the Waco Warriors will be going north to Gilbertville.
Tough matchup.
And Don Bosco, the Dons. 8-man power, although, you call it Waco an 8-man power since they've been in the playoffs a lot since they've been there, and they were at the Dome last year. I think that will be one of the games of the stinking night.
Yeah, let me read the stats for.
Yeah,
I was going to do this. Miller went 5 for 10 in that game, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oswald 80 yards, 3 touchdowns. Loudon Housingate ended with 77 yards in the score. Miller 42 yards and 1 touchdown, and then Housingate also had a team high in receiving with 47 yards and 1 touchdown, and then Gage Sama 1 touchdown as well, as I mentioned. And then Joel Meyer led the Warriors with 8 tackles. And then, as I mentioned, Hunter Hughes and Clayton Miller, both 2 interceptions. And Chase Waterhouse had 1, too, kind of funny on the little jump tip ball. And,
nice.
he plays on the line.
Yeah, of course.
Little tip ball, and he grabbed it and just took off down the field. It was kind of
How many picks
great.
he's got in his career?
I don't know. Probably not that much playing on the line, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Waco at Don Bosco, BC Moore rankings, which a lot of people, including Coach Edeker, say that he doesn't really pay any attention to. But I do, just because I like to see
Yep.
the little mathematical thing. They say it is going to be a 2-point game. They got Don Bosco favored by 2. The Dons just beat Edgewood Colesburg, gave up 22 points. They've only lost this one game to Gladbrook Rhinebeck. So very similar in that Waco and Don Bosco have only lost to top 2, number 1, number 2 teams at the time of the loss. So that should be exciting. Watch out, Waco fans. Get there early. You got to get there early and take up a couple spots. Don Bosco has seating that's basically right behind the end zone. I remember that from when New London went. New London went, I think, the year after they won state. And it's like they were literally sitting in lawn chairs right outside the end zone. So you got to get. I'm sure Waco Mania will be invading Gilbertville. And good luck parking because it's all grass parking basically.
And Don Bosco known for kind of their football being a powerhouse in the last 4 years and
big time. I'll move on to the game I was at. I was at Wellman, Iowa for Mid Prairie Northeast. Mid Prairie has knocked off coming in.
Looking good.
Had knocked up. Yeah,
they might be one of the hottest teams in
absolutely
right now.
They had knocked off Northeast twice in a row in the playoffs. It seems like they just open with them every single year.
And all last week, you said, the talk was looking at BC Moore, this was one of the top games.
This is supposed to be
and even Varsity Bound said that this was the most enticing 2A matchup.
Oh, did you? You know what? One of those Varsity Bound guys picked Northeast to win.
I saw that.
And the Mid-Prairie kids heard about it, apparently. They knew. Because Coach Darren Lambert after said, you media guys got to watch out. These guys saw some guy on Bound pick Northeast, and that's all they needed. It was all Mid-Prairie. Reminder, this is a year after a 7-6 game. So this is the 3rd time that they've faced Northeast quarterback. He was a stud when he was a freshman. Mm-hmm. His name is Gavin Kramer. He's a junior this year, so he's played him 3 years in a row. So that's intimidating. And I'll tell you what, a couple times he broke loose on runs. I was like, oh, this guy's going to be dangerous. But Mid Prairie 49, Northeast 18.
Really just
all night, all Mid Prairie. Second play of the game, flea flicker. It was planned in the locker room beforehand that they were going to go flea flicker. Hudson Ehrenfeld flipped it back to Brady Weber. I see. I had a pretty good eye for the flea flicker. The second he turned out, I was like, oh, this might. And I looked. I see Dylan Henry running open. Now, he didn't go straight to the end zone, but he was coming over on kind of a drag route type thing. Weber found him wide open. Strike. Boom. That's a 58-yard touchdown. Get the ball back, and then they hand it off to Ehrenfeld probably 7 times in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Rushing touchdown.
Man.
And they actually they led 21-0 after the first quarter, and 33-6 at halftime. So they were rolling. I was happy because there was a bus breakdown for Northeast. So the game, I show up a little early to the game, just a little bit. I don't like to get there, 30 minutes and sit around. But I got there for about 50 minutes and sat around because there was a 45-minute delay because of Northeast bus breaking down. And so I was very happy that the Golden Hawks then popped that score up to plus 35. The Kelowna News guy and I were standing in the end zone kind of mathing out how many scores they needed to get to that 35-point mark so they get the running clock. So they had him on running clock. Brady Weber absolutely dominated. 11 for 16, 162 yards and 5 touchdowns. Rushed for a touchdown. Hudson Ehrenfeld carried the ball 25 times, 179 yards and a touchdown. Kobe Hirschberger had 2 touchdown catches.
Huge, he's back.
Yeah,
Because he was injured for a while there in the regular season. And
yeah, he straight up mossed a kid on one of them. Just out jumped him. Dylan Henry had the one. Caden Koss had one. And Ehrenfeld had one in a little. It was a little scramble from Weber where he kind of flipped it to him. So they spread the ball out a ton. The offense moved up and down. The defense would have been what I was concerned about because of Kramer. And he did burn him a couple times. There were a couple times when he was sacked dead to rights, and all of a sudden he squirted out and he ran like 40 yards. But defensively, Mid-Prairie played great. Koss had 5 tackles to lead the way. Ace Peck and Peyton Fox both had picks. And it was all Mid-Prairie. And Mid-Prairie's I talked to Coach Lambert after, and we were kind of speculating maybe Mediapolis. Maybe they would have went to Mediapolis for round 2, or possibly Monticello, but that is not the case. They're going to PCM, which is kind of a familiar team.
Yeah, if you
for the area.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, I was just gonna say that our area plays PCM every once in a while.
Well, I was gonna say it's. I think looking at the 2A bracket, this is another Mid-Prairie should be in bound game of the week or whatever they want to call it. I think it should be that because just looking based off matchups and schedules, we saw, we didn't see it, but we weren't there, or maybe you were there, but we saw Sigourney and Sigourney Kyoto and Mid-Prairie play an absolute barn burner earlier in the season. What was like 40?
That was last year.
I thought it was this year too.
No, Sigourney Kyoto did play. Oh no, wait, yes, no. Oh yeah, they did play a barn burner.
It was like 49 to third, maybe high. It was like a 1 touchdown game.
Yes, they did. Sorry, I was thinking that there was also a barn burner last year, which I did.
Yeah, you did see that.
I didn't think it was. You're right.
But if you look at based up on who they played, it's just basing it off the Sigourney Kyoto game. But we'll get to Sigourney Kyoto here in a sec. But Sigourney Kyoto's only loss was an opening in the first game of the season at PCM.
Yep.
And it was a 22-15 game, and that was a kind of a back and forth matchup. And then you look, how Mid-Prairie played Sigourney Kyoto, which was a 1 touchdown game.
Yep.
I mean, you got to think that really this is like an up in the air kind of game, and I don't know what BC Moore says about this game.
I could check it here, but that's the transitive property. There's a really awesome website called myteamisbetterthanyourteam.com. Have you ever been to that website?
I have not.
You can plug in any team. When Wesleyan was down, you could plug in Iowa Wesleyan at the top and Alabama at the bottom, and it would come up with a reason that Iowa Wesleyan was better than Alabama. So it would just be like they beat them, and it would be like 30 different games, and it would eventually prove that Wesleyan was better than whoever. So I used to love messing with that. Let's see here, Class 2A. I'm going to read you the BC Moore prediction.
It's got to be a close one.
Mid-Prairie, it is not. PCM is favored by over 20 points. PCM's a really good team.
They are.
But I'll tell you what, Mid-Prairie outperformed their projection by about 30 this week. So that's all you need.
Yep, exactly.
We're going to move on here. The top-ranked Winfield Mount Union Wolves hosted Belle Plaine. Man, is that the first home playoff game for Winfield
In a while.
since 2014, I believe. I covered Winfield in their big run. I don't like to talk about it because it was a devastating, super long field goal that knocked them. I think it might have been Linville Sully back when they were Class A. Their return to home paid off, 64-8. It was all Mid Prairie. I saw some highlights of this one of the touchdowns, and it was just running over them, throwing it over them. Everything that has been happening at Winfield Mount Union this year just kept happening.
Yep.
16-0 after one, 48-8 at halftime, and then shut them out in the second half. As I said, they did it a little bit in the air, a little bit on the ground. Cam Buffington ran the ball 12 times, went 192 yards. Not sure if anyone ever tackled him. 3 touchdowns. Jake Edwards and Cole Milks both ran for a touchdown. Milks had 82 on the ground. And then passing the ball, Jake Edwards just needed to complete 5 passes. One of my favorite things about Winfield this year is one game they'll just check it up over and over and over again, and one game they'll just run the ball. And so you kind of can't really, if I was coaching against them, I wouldn't really know what to think about how they're going to line up and who they're going to, where Buffington's going to land and how many times they're going to pass the ball. 3 of those 5 completions went for touchdowns. Carter Lloyd, Cam Buffington, and Abram Edwards all had scores. Defensively, shut them down. Carter Lloyd, 8.5 tackles. Abram Edwards had 8. And Lane Ginkinger.
Yep.
Ginkinger. As an Inger myself, I should be experts at Lane Ginkinger had 3 turnovers. That has to lead. I'm sure that led the state on Friday night. 2 fumble recoveries and an interception. Very often you scoop up 2 fumbles in the same season, but he had it in the same game along with an interception. So a huge defensive player of the game there for Lane there. So all Winfield 64-8, and they will be playing a Moravia team that did play Belle Plaine during the regular season, and it was a dogfight. So Winfield Mount Union heavy favorites in that one, as long as they can hold home field. And you know what happens if Winfield wins? They will be playing the winner of Waco and Don Bosco, which means there's a real possibility that in 2 Fridays we could be on our way to Winfield Mount Union High School to watch Waco come in with the dome on the line, which would be a historic game in that rivalry.
Yeah, exactly.
Or conversely, if Don Bosco can beat Waco, then you got the
Dons
superpower coming in, and Winfield would probably still be favored in that game.
Yep.
So they got Moravia. Actually, I called him Montezuma. I call him Montezuma when Gazette sports editor J.R. Ogden was like, what games do you guys cover? And I was like, well, Winfield's got Montezuma. And he's like, I don't think Montezuma's in anymore. Oh, Moravia.
Yeah. You kind of get them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, Mormon Trail, Yeah. Anyway, so Wolves moving on. So that's 3 teams. We got a 4th, Sigourney Keota Hunter.
Sigourney Keota really took care of business. Obviously, I mentioned Mid Prairie being one of the hottest teams, at least in the this late season. They've been playing really well. Sigourney Keota hasn't lost since week 1. I mentioned they opened with the loss to PCM, who is a top 6-7 team in 2A. And Sigourney Keota, number 6 ranked in 1A, 52-7 victory over West Central Valley. Really no problem for the Cobras. I'll just read here what happened. I always love. I think it's Clint Dye that posts on Twitter.
Yes, he does.
He really gives a nice view of the game. So I was able to kind of.
We follow along with the SK game if we're not at it more than any other game because Clint is on
he's like everything that happens. So I was able to get some good info in the story here. But
fantastic.
Really. What am I trying to say? The Cobras, caused a fumble on the opening drive, and then Kale Clarahan scored from 1 yard out. And really just kept the gas on all night, kind of asserted their dominance. Another defensive stop led to Sawyer Stout scoring from 10 yards out. Really quick 14-0 lead for Sigourney Keota there. Kale Clarahan on the next drive picked the ball off, and then Cole Kindred scored from 48 yards on a pass from Sawyer Stout. And then another touchdown run, 21 yards from Isaac Bruns, made it 28-0 at the half. And really, the Cobras just kind of tacked it on, kept on the gas. They kicked off the second half. Bruns with a 40-yard touchdown, and from then on out was 42-0. And really that just kind of sealed it after that. So a dominant victory for them, obviously, in the next round. And let's see here. Go to the stats. We talked about Sigourney Coda, one of those teams that doesn't like to pass. Sawyer Stout 1 for 2 for 52 yards, and obviously the one completion was a touchdown. Landon Crow caught a pass for 20 yards from Braden Wood too. And then on the ground, Bruns 92 yards, 2 scores. Cole Kindred 83 yards, and Cale Clarahan had 81 yards and 1 touchdown. Sawyer Stout finished with a team high 3 touchdowns with 41 yards there as well. And defensively, Jake Moore 4 tackles and 1 fumble recovery, and then Cale Clarahan ended with 1 interception, and Ashton Schwab had a fumble recovery. And now Sigourney Coda now 8-1, hasn't lost since week 1. Will take on Dyke New Hartford. I think the Cobras probably, out of all the teams we have left, have by far the toughest matchup.
Yeah.
Looking at who Dyke New Hartford has played, obviously they opened the season against number 1 ranked Grundy Center. It was 7-6. Grundy Center won that game. Mm-hmm. They played West Branch, beat West Branch by 2 points. I don't know. It's just, Dyke New Hartford 6-3, and if they beat Grundy Center in that opening game, and one more game goes their way, I think they're a top 3 team in the class.
They are, yeah.
So it's aside from the fact that they're 6-3, this team could very well have like just 1 loss, and so it's going to be a tough matchup for sure.
I agree, and the little bit of a revenge factor 2 years ago, Sigourney Coda went to Dyke New Hartford for a round of 16 game, and everything that could go wrong went wrong on that one, and DNH scooted through. I will say that I like the town of Dyke. I always stop there on the way to Fort Dodge, which I will be going on Saturday.
I've never been there. Is on the way up there?
It's right off of the. I go up this way and then that way, and it's right off the highway. And it's a nice little town. So that's the compliment I'll give them. And then, but they better be watching out. They had a little slip up. Osage, they lost
Osage.
by 1, but Osage is a pretty good team. I don't know. It's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I agree.
But a little bit of a revenge factor there for SK. And
2021 was that. I think that game you're talking about was
2021, and then a little unlucky that's the road team that you get, but it's the playoffs.
And that's what you get sometimes too. Like some teams that are like, they get this they get placed in this pod or whatever, and it's like, oh, that team's like really good, really good. Like I don't know, looking at the rest of it, like West Branch, MFL, Marmac, and that's one of, Dyke New Hartford's loss, and,
MFL got them bad too.
Yeah.
2 other playoff teams. Now to the sad part of the day. Got 2 teams that were knocked out. We'll start with Pekin, who we've said all year that they've played tight with good teams, and they've killed teams that they were better than. 28-6 loss to Linville Sully, another state-ranked team. It was only 22-6 at halftime. Once again, the Pekin defense showed that it was for real. And I can just say that I'm excited about this team in the future. They lost a few seniors, but they will bring a lot back. Starting quarterback, I think 3 of their top 4 pass catchers. Pekin's only losses this year, they ended up 6-3. They lost to 3 teams that had appeared in the top 10 in Class A. So 28-6, Linville Sully beats Pekin. And then Maquoketa Valley over Columbus, just kind of got away from Columbus. It was close. It ended up 57-21 thanks to 44 second-half points for Maquoketa Valley. So last week on the episode of Sound, I complained that Maquoketa Valley didn't let me into a neutral site game one time and held me at the door because they didn't believe I was media. That was actually Maquoketa. So that was, even though you guys didn't hear it, I accidentally slandered the wrong school last year. Or last week. But a top one, Caden Amagon still ran for 262 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I saw the difference in that game was
Russell Coyle, 11 tackles. Shout out to the Coyle family. They are loyal watchers of Southeast Union Sports Talk.
Yeah, and as I put in the story, the kind of biggest difference in that game was they gave up, 600 and where's that? 618 yards on the night defensively. So that's where
the Valley's got such a good offense. So Lane McShane, who we were worried about, scored 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
Or Lane McShane,
who was one of that. That's their running back, right?
Yeah, he was very good. And then quickly, our big school teams. Washington played the best. They played Fort Madison.
Yep, it was close.
It was close, 21-7. That would have knocked Fort Madison out of the playoff hunt. It would have been a nice little spoiler. Did not happen. So Washington fell. Mount Pleasant went up to Assumption, a ranked team that might be at the Dome this year, lost 56-0. And Fairfield, a year after a really heartbreaker against Grinnell at the end of the season, it was a little different this time. They went up to Grinnell 49-0. So our big schools are done. We have 4 teams left in the playoffs.
Yep.
We got 2 home games and 2 road games this weekend. So football season, I think it's going to go on for another couple
I think
of
so too.
weeks. I can tell you that.
I agree. It's getting exciting too.
It is. And speaking of exciting, I think our sponsors are excited because it's their time to shine. It's commercial time, the time everybody's waiting for. When we get back, we've got some big preview action of the big volleyball game tonight.
Yep.
So we'll see you in a few minutes.
We'll be back.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
I am Melissa Westfall with Homegirl Realty. Heather and Charlotte and I have worked together for many years, and we have always had a vision to have a business together.
I'm Charlotte Howard, and the good news is we bring a very high level of experience. We have a combined 80 plus years of experience in this real estate marketplace.
I'm Heather Merrick, and Homegirl Realty brings a lot of things to the table. We have phenomenal communication with our clients, buyers, and sellers to make sure things are going smoothly and you don't have anything to worry about.
Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, powered by Fairway. You're watching this on Washington Live's YouTube/Twitter at Union Sports page, because I always pin it.
Yep.
Or Fairfield Lives, Washington Lives, or Mount Pleasant Lives Facebook. Fairfield fans, like that stinking Fairfield live page, because you're trailing behind in third place right now.
Third place.
I always, we're on all three, so we never know who's watching it where. But I've heard we're the kings of YouTube on this particular channel. Before we get to volleyball, we have to go back to the celebritybirthdays.com website for our birthdays, because Alex gave us a couple false ones a couple of weeks ago. And it's PewDiePie's birthday today.
What?
I got very into the whole him losing his #1 spot on YouTube that one time.
Oh yeah, when he was in the battle with the
it's
the
called
video company or whatever.
Yeah, T-Series.
T-Series, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. It was just something
in India,
that drew
right?
me.
Was
Yeah,
it
I was
in
like,
India?
in India. It was something that drew me to the like the internet world. I usually.
I remember people that never watched it were just like, "Let's go support PewDiePie."
Yeah. It was very, very funny. Drake, his birthday, and then people I've never heard of: Chase Keith, a TikTok star; Rhett Leroy, Kid President; Tatiana Mitchell, whatever. So yeah, Katy Perry tomorrow. It's too bad we don't have a show tomorrow.
Yep.
She has a song called Birthday. Interesting.
No.
It's funny how life works.
That is weird.
what was I going to say? We are on to volleyball, and we have seen our teams one by one hit the floor a little bit.
Yep.
And we are down to
one
volleyball team. It's a team that both of us have saw this year.
Yep.
A team that we knew was going to be pretty good. The Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks.
Yep.
They are at Center Point, Urbana. It's a good thing that Hunter's covering this tonight because I thought I was at Mid-Prairie and we were just discussing and I tried to correct him because he's like, it's a long way to Center Point, Urbana. And I said, Hunter, you don't have to go to Center Point. Mid-Prairie is the top seed. Wrong. Center Point, Urbana is hosting tonight.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, first off, the Golden Hawks in the semifinal round down PCM by a sweep, 3-0, 25-12, 25-15, 25-16. And now they're one game from state. Looking at this region, let's see, which region is this? What I got up to?
Quick power here. He said I just realized that Mid-Prairie knocked out PCM volleyball. Maybe you could omen.
A little like might be a little foreshadowing.
Domination there.
But it's Class 3A Region 6 championship. Obviously, the winner goes to state. Center Point Urbana comes in ranked number 7. Mid-Prairie number 12. Really, it's going to be looking at the stats, it's going to be a barn burner. Center Point Urbana comes in off a win over Albia. You familiar with Albia? 3-0 sweep in that one, 25-9, 25-8, and 25-8 in that third and final match. Really, it all comes down to this. There's no more. You're not safe anymore from defeat. So, the Golden Hawks a great chance. One thing I noticed, from last year, obviously last year they made it to this point, lost to eventual state champion Davenport Assumption. Up at Assumption was at that game. This year, what I've noticed about the Golden Hawks is that it seems like they just have so many weapons now, specifically at the net.
Yes.
They've got a great defense. At the net, particularly, we got Jovi Evans who's leading in kills and assists.
Triple-double machine. Jovi Evans.
Yeah, and she's great defensively. And one thing I noticed is they're kind of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but they have like Dakota Mitchell in the back can set the ball. Like she almost sets the ball with her second hit, like the second hit of the.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like she can almost set it. They're like so diverse in that regard. And like Jovi Evans can play in the back and still set the ball and still hit up front at the net. Harper Pace is there. The front Callie Huber's great defensively, and then Paige Safley's up there as well. And Avery Helmuth, is also one of their leading assisters, and mentioned Mitchell defensively back there as the libero. And then, they're just so diverse this year, and I feel like, if any year, obviously there's they got a lot of juniors and still a lot of young players
years to go.
Yeah, and so they're going to be good next year too. But like, it just feels like this is a different Golden Hawk squad this year.
Dakota Mitchell, she's been good for so long now that I think, we had to get a new picture for her when she made All Union last year.
Yeah, because
it was her freshman year picture, and we were like, she doesn't look like this anymore. So she's been the second she hit high school, she was one of the best setters in the entire Union area.
Yeah.
So defensively, offensively, it's just it's an impressive. It's an impressive team, and you know what? You're going up to Center Point for this game. If they make state, it's a shorter drive to state for us
exactly.
than it was to this road game.
Yep.
So, in a way that the state tournament being in the East, they kind of will have a little advantage there. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Mid-Prairie there. People if they make it. 31 wins for Mid-Prairie.
Yep.
I do not know when the last time was that they had that many wins. I can tell you the Mid-Prairie volleyball program has just sharply went up.
Yep.
They were 5 years ago. Mid-Prairie was one of those teams where they'd play one of our lower level teams and we're like, let's go to that game so we can see one of them win the game. They had 6 wins. Here we go. 5, 6, 6, 9, 16. Last year, 27. Now 31 wins.
I can tell you they haven't been back to state since 2004, I think.
2004. What were we doing in 2004?
Clark Elementary, man.
Clark Elementary. Shout out. I was Sheraton Middle School. Shout out. So, head coach Sherry Evans, by the way, we should mention who leads that squad.
She's done a great job.
She has. They do. They play sharp. They play smart. They're confident, and excited to see if they can pull it off tonight.
Yeah.
You're going. I might find it on live stream maybe.
Yeah, and just quick mention, Center Point Urbana is a really tough team. They play Clear Creek Amana. I think has been kind of undoubtedly the number one team across the entire state, 42-0. I think they might be one of the only undefeated teams, maybe one of two undefeated teams left in the entire state. Played Clear Creek Amana in a tournament, 26-24, 25-17. So they've played with the best, but they haven't seen the Golden Locks yet.
Yeah, I have not, but they're going to tonight. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. That's going to be a packed house, so good luck finding a parking spot.
Yep.
And speaking of good luck finding a parking spot, after we come back from this commercial, I'm going to talk about one of the toughest places to park if it rains. The state cross country meet at Fort Dodge. So cross country fans, we're coming at you after this break. We'll see you soon.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
At 5 Star Community Credit Union, we want to help you lead a better life. We offer competitive rates and convenient appointment times for all kinds of loans: auto, recreational vehicles, home equity line of credit, holiday, and personal loans. We make it easy to build your credit and enjoy the good things in life.
We invite you to join 5 Star Community Credit Union. We are community-minded and member-focused. Come visit our locations in West Burlington and Mount Pleasant or online at 5starcu.org. Federally insured through the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
At Brown Shoe Fit, we pride ourselves on traditional sit and fit service that's been serving the Mount Pleasant area since 1952. At Brown's, we have shoes for the whole family. From kids to adults, we carry the finest footwear for every occasion. Whether you're looking for something for work, casual wear, or exercise, we've got you covered. And don't forget about our selection of safety toe footwear for both men and women. Come visit us 6 days a week and experience the best in traditional sit and fit service. Brown Shoe Fit, where quality and tradition meet.
Just around the corner, and what a better way to celebrate than visit two of Iowa's most thrilling Halloween attractions, Thresher's House of Terror and Midwest Haunted Rails. Brace yourselves for an unforgettable experience as you enter Thresher's House of Terror, filled with the spooky surprises at every corner. You'll encounter every nightmare you've ever had. And for a family-friendly Halloween treat, ride the Midwest Haunted Rails, screaming down the tracks in Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, powered by Fairway, along with all the beautiful sponsors you see right down here. We're on delay, so I was going to read some of the sponsors on the bottom.
But you're like,
hey, Old Thrasher's House of Terror. I will not be taking my daughters to that. Addie, my 5-year-old, I think it's going to be, she might be a kid that just doesn't want to get scared.
And I had a traumatic experience there when I was a kid.
Oh, at Old Thrasher's?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
chainsaw
I don't
guy?
like clowns. I don't like clowns, man. I mean, I guess I always say that, but it's like they kind of freak me out a little bit. But
still do
a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was on that train that one time, and they kind of run. I don't know when's the last time you've been, or if you ever been, but they were like run through like the train car, like they come out of like the dark, and you don't realize it because you're looking around like because they're running up on the on the field or whatever. Yeah, man.
My wife.
I turned one time, I almost had a heart attack.
My wife would
like
never
6.
guess. So I've never been there. You're 6. You still wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweat, kind of like those who did not go to Capper Auto. Went to they're like made the wrong decision. Yep. Fairway there. We're gonna talk a little bit of cross country, and this could be a historic week. Not only for the Union sports area, but for Iowa high school sports in general. We have a runner, Danielle Hostetler. Perhaps you guys have heard of her or her family that has won so many cross-country meets in a row. She's going for her 4th state championship on Saturday. About 10. You put up the 2. Why'd you put up the 2?
I was just saying second all time. That would be.
Oh yeah, she'd be the second all time. I thought you were correcting me that it was only her second. I was like, no, that was definitely going to be 4.
No.
I can tell you that been there last couple of years. She had a dominant performance last year. We'll see. It's cross country. You never know. There are a lot of variables. There's a reason why only one girl has ever been a 4-time state champion. But Danielle Hostetler and the Mid-Prairie Golden Hawk girls advanced in their state qualifier this Thursday? Oh, wait, Thursday? Or did they go Friday? Thursday. It was right before the weekend. Either
Thursday.
way. The Mid-Prairie boys qualified 3rd in theirs, which top 3 in 2A go. So there are 2 teams there in Class 2A. The Pekin boys going to the state tournament. They scored 47 to win their state qualifier by 40 points.
Man.
Brady McWhorter won the individual title there for Pekin. By the way, Emmett Swartzentruber won, finished 3rd, was the top Golden Hawk boy. And then the Pekin girls for the 20th straight year are going to the state cross country meet. I'm sure that'll be a fun fact that old Mike J will say during the Class 1A meet. He's always got those.
He's always got those crazy stats.
Right there. They got 2nd. And Chloe Glosser finished 2nd, and Lauren Stiegleiter was right behind her a couple places. Back. So Pekin 1-2, Mid-Prairie 1-2. That's 4 teams going to the state tournament in those smaller classes. 1A is Friday, 2A is Saturday, and then after the 2A meet, the Washington boys. It's been a while since they've won as a team. I remember
that one.
The devastation last year because they had the state qualifier in Washington. Micah Reese, who placed at state and led them again by winning the state qualifier this week. He won and made it last week, and it was him and Tyler Alderson both made it last year. And I remember interviewing them, and the interview after that state qualifier meet was just like, you could see it in their eyes. It was just a huge disappointment that they didn't go as a team. They will be going as a team, and you were there, actually.
Yeah.
Why aren't you talking about this? I forgot you were at the 3A meet. What'd you see there?
I don't know.
I don't know why I'm just blabbering on about it.
We've seen Washington kind of be as dominant as they've been all season long, pretty much, on the boys' side. And Micah Reese doing his thing. They finished 2nd overall as a team with 77 points. Obviously, Reese took 2nd to, I believe, last year's state champion of Pella. I don't have his name in the story, but Pella was one of the. I think they won the state team title last year.
They're very good at cross country.
Yeah, and I think that kid's only a sophomore, actually. The kid that won.
Mm-hmm.
So he took 2nd there. On the Washington girls' side, missed it by just 2 points. Clear Creek Amana snuck in there. And tough break for the Washington girls there.
As I say, if it was not, you get 5 scores.
Yep.
If there's anything above that, 6 scores, 7 scores, 8 scores, Washington would have been there.
Yep. They finished with 112 points, and then Clear Creek Amana with 110. But Ira Stahl, heading back to the state tournament, she finished 5th overall on the girls' side, and then Huge run by Fairfield's Carly Seeley.
Yes.
Very emotional. When I talked to her after the race, she was just kind of breaking down because it was like, always her dream. She gave me some great quotes after that. So she heads back, or not back, she's heading to the state tournament for her first time in her senior season with a 10th place finish. So really nice to see her get there. But so we've got 3 individuals. I guess the whole Washington boys team, but 3 individuals qualified.
Yep. For 3A.
Yeah.
So Washington boys is a team, and then two girls in the Class 3A race.
And I guess technically, Micah Reese's brother,
Andrew Reese.
Andrew Reese technically qualified, and Tyler Alderton too. Those 3, they
would have qualified.
If the team
anyway.
didn't make it, those 3 would have qualified as well, those 3 all together for Washington.
Yep. And then we talked about 2A, but at 1A at Regina. Lincoln Bainbridge from Van Buren County going back to Fort Dodge won the meet 16:52.7. Winfield Mount Union's Colby Newsom going back to Fort Dodge as a solo there. Columbus's Damian Vergara and the boys, he got 8th. He needed top 10 to make it in Class 1A, and then top 2 teams made it in Class 1A. So a little bit tougher there, kind of, because they're more spread out. So the math works. Just trust me on that one.
Yeah.
And Hillcrest's Marie Yoder, who has just been dominating this year.
Out of nowhere.
I remember seeing her at Fairfield. I don't always know who's going to be good coming into the fall.
The
middle school, sometimes people kind of slip under my radar a little bit. I, at one point, had known that Hillcrest had a good one coming up, and I'd forgot. And all of a sudden, I just saw a Hillcrest jersey running by me. And I was like, what? She was just in front of everybody. So she won by 32 seconds. So Hillcrest Marie Yoder going to the state meet, as well as Columbus's Iris Garza, who got 3rd in that one, I believe. It looks like I messed it up in the story because I just tried to read it off for myself. So we have some individual qualifiers. Again, it's a little different than last year. Last year it was 1 and 2. 1A and 2A were on one day, and then 3A and 4 were on the other day. This year, 1A and 4A going on Friday. And then Saturday we have a ton of kids going in 2A and 3A. So I guess Pekin is 1A. So.
And we've got a great shot of people bringing home some hardware too.
I definitely believe that. Obviously, Danielle has a big shot, and
the team is
Pekin, Pekin boys and girls. If you look at how good they've been, have a shot at some hardware. Micah Reese has already been in that top spot, and or not top spot, but he's already placed at state. And the Washington boys have been ranked pretty highly all year. So, and especially the way that. Andrew Reese has been running. He's kind of snuck up. He got 3rd at the conference meet. And
I was really impressed by his run.
Yeah,
he's kind of. It's almost like it's almost like a kind of mirroring his brother almost.
Oh yeah! Shout out, by the way, to the Reese family. Well, at least Mike and Andrew confirmed
Chicago
Blackhawks fans. I was wearing a Blackhawks sweatshirt at conference, and they complimented me on it. So
Connor Bedard did.
We got excited about Connor Bedard and just how it's going to be. It has been the greatest start to the season for the Blackhawks. 2-4, I believe.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's so always good to know that I got fellow Chicago sports fans.
Yeah.
So I'll be there on Saturday. Our publisher Matt Bryant will be there on Monday for the 1A. Yeah, I know. He's gonna. Yeah, so we're gonna split up. That way I can cover. You're gonna be on this weekend. Cover a football game on Friday, and then off to Fort Dodge. It's a long drive.
Man, it's interesting that I wonder how Fort Dodge got like softball. Wonder why. Why did they wonder why Fort Dodge is like the place to be for like cross country. I mean, softball kind of makes sense because there's so many fields, but like
they do great in softball. That's probably the best sport that anyone puts on. They have a nice golf course for cross country. There's one problem I will warn people. It's going to rain this week, right?
It's supposed to rain like every day.
A lot of the parking for anybody that's planning on going to the cross country meet, a lot of the parking is grass parking. If it rains that week, it's private property that you're parking on. They just shut it down. They're like, you can't park here anymore. Then you park on the street, and I've seen runners who were supposed to run in the race sprinting up the street to get to the meet because they had to park basically at the softball fields. So get there early, basically, is what I'm saying, because you're going to be running. Be prepared to run because they're not going to delay it if people aren't there. So warning for the people going to Fort Dodge this weekend. And warning for anybody watching the show. If you don't share this and tell your friends, we'll publicly lambast. I'm going to have a list of all the people that should have told all their friends to watch this show. And we're going to lambast them one of these days.
Yep.
Give them a couple more weeks. But
We got to get that spinner, too.
And we got to get the spinner.
You're promising prizes.
A lot of stuff's going to happen this winter. I'm excited. I did say that we were going to do a Halloween episode. That should have been this episode. We're not dressed in Halloween outfits. So, promises made.
Hold on.
Promises not delivered. I guess it's 2 days after Halloween next week.
All right. We'll be all right.
Maybe we'll dress up as something.
No, Halloween's the 31st. Perfect. It'll be the 31st. Next Tuesday. Tuesday's the 31st.
Wait, Halloween is next Tuesday? Oh, yeah, Halloween episode next week. Costume contest. I thought it was this weekend. That's because I'm a dad. There's my brain, because we're doing trick-or-treating stuff this weekend. So my brain said that means Halloween's this weekend. My brain said Halloween is one of those.
I was going to say, I think we're right on. I think we're right on cue.
We are right. Yes, you're
Perfect.
right. I lied. That's not true. Next week's special Halloween episode.
Are we collabing on this, or are we just coming to whatever?
We should just a costume. Let's just try and do whatever.
Okay.
Everyone go out and get a costume. Alex, get a costume. I will probably forget on Monday, and then.
So somebody remembers.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. That's
Perfect.
all. And I want you guys in costume next week watching.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Maybe send in your costumes.
Send in images to the chat, and we'll.
If you send in your Halloween costumes, like appropriate Halloween costumes.
Yeah, there you go.
Say that because some people, I forgot about the team names during our bracket.
Yeah, I
challenge.
remember that.
Alex
wasn't here for that.
We'll
We
put
got
it on the screen. Halloween party next week.
I'm looking forward
excited.
to the bracket challenge again.
Monster Mash. Now I'm pumped. Now I'm even more pumped than the beginning of the week. My kids, by the way, are being Minnie Mouse for the 2-year-old and a witch for the 5-year-old.
Nice.
Sweet witch hat. All right. We don't have anything else to talk about. It's almost 11 o'clock.
Yep.
And Alex has other stuff to do, so we should stop blabbing. Happy Halloween, everyone. Next week. And we'll see you
next week
on Halloween. It's going to be spooky.